What's up, Titans Nation? Welcome back to the Titans Traffic Update. I'm your host, Gannon, and today I have a very special Memorial Day edition of the Titans Traffic Update for you guys. Today, we are going to be discussing, is Carnell Tate here to the rescue for the Tennessee Titans, not only offense, but entire team as well. We're going to be looking at setting realistic expectations in this upcoming 2026 season. I'm going to look at some offensive stats that we need to definitely monitor for our team coming up for this next season. And then, of course, shout out to Nashville getting that 2030 Super Bowl nod over there. So I'll discuss all those things for you guys. But before we get started, first, please go ahead and like and subscribe and share this show. Again, my goal is to build this up so I can create a great space for my Titans fandom out here so we can all come in together, talk about different things. So please let me know, comment down below anything you guys have questions on, anything that you want me to cover, and I will cover it. So let me know what you guys want to do, and let's go ahead and just get right into it, get you guys on your Memorial Day. Hopefully you guys are kicking back, having some barbecue out by the pool, drinking a couple beers. So let's get it started. First and foremost, our boy Carnell Tate is showing out in OTAs so far. He is everything that the Tennessee Titans has hoped he would be so far into his very, very young career. And I have confirmation from A to Z Sports Nashville. They stated, quote, Carnell Tate did it all today this is day 3, I believe, of OTAs. Carnell Tate did it all today at Titans OTAs. He caught multiple touchdown passes, I believe it was 3, from Cam Ward, showing off great hands, showing off that he was a pure route technician, and also has major wide receiver 1 energy. Now, for my Titans fans out there, if you know anything, you know that the media that revolves around the Tennessee Titans does not sugarcoat anything. So if he was not looking like this, trust me, they would have been on him. So this is not gassing up. This is not trying to make Carnell Tate seem like a guy. If the media, the local media for the Tennessee Titans, they are typically out to get the team. Where most teams, at least, they typically kind of hype their guys up a little bit. And of course, there's some guys in the media that like to hype different players up there on the Tennessee Titans. But for the most part, and I think that A to Z Sports Nashville is one of the more fair assessments, good or bad, of the Tennessee Titans. I certainly trust their evaluation of Carnell Tate so far, and if they're saying that he's given wide receiver 1 energy, this can only be a great thing for the Titans. Now remember, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to this, and I want you guys to hold me accountable to this. Remember, when the Titans drafted Carnell Tate, I was not the biggest fan. I didn't think it was a disaster, but I did not think I was not the biggest fan, because going into the whole entire pre-draft process, I had Carnell Tate as a long-term wide receiver 2. And I still think that he has the makings of that. But if he can be that wide receiver 1, he's going to save this franchise. He is absolutely going to save this franchise. So if he has already given that wide receiver 1 energy off of the 3rd day of OTAs, and our media, who typically does not give the Titans any type of breaks, if they're feeling it, he's out there catching one-handed passes. If you guys have seen on Twitter, he's catching, like I said, 3 touchdowns from Cam Ward alone in one practice. Reportedly, there was a 50-yard bomb from Cam Ward to Carnell Tate that went for a touchdown. Completely got behind the defense with a busted coverage, and Carnell Tate just wide open. He also caught another one, I believe it was in either red zone or 7-on-7, might have been combined of both, where he caught it and he toe tapped at the back of the end zone. And the Titans did put out a video of that on their official pages as well. But man, if Carnell Tate can be that, we're going to be in a good spot. Remember, the last time the Titans were this good, and again, he's going to continue to be compared to this guy because he was the last great receiver we had, so I can't not compare him. I don't like to do this, but Carnell Tate's going to be compared to A.J. Brown as long as he's a Titan, so at least while he's on his rookie contract. If you guys remember back, A.J. Brown, his rookie season, he played all 16 games. This is when they still played 16. He had 52 catches for 1,051 yards and 8 touchdowns. He averaged 20 yards a reception. Godlike numbers. Godlike numbers for a rookie, for a second-round rookie at that. Carnell Tate is drafted 4th overall, and you guys can see why. Hopefully you can see why I was very nervous taking a receiver like that, because even I think that is very lofty expectations to put on Carnell Tate. To expect him to go for at least 1,051 yards. I mean, he was drafted several spots ahead of where A.J. Brown was. To go on with 8 touchdowns, and he did all that only on 52 catches. He had 84 targets and ended up with 52 catches. Now remember, this is a combined with Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill, because this is when Tannehill took over for Mariota in the middle of the season. A.J. Brown still went over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. Averaged, again, 20.2 yards per reception. I think that's lofty goals to put on there, and I will continue to say this throughout the show today. I will reserve my predictions as far as yards, exactly what I think these guys are going to get. Again, I may give a little snippet here and there, but I won't give my full-on expectations are for everyone until we get at least through training camp, because I think that time is very important as we start to see how often really is Cam Ward, targeting Carnell Tate. How efficient, how much better does Cam Ward look in practice this time around than he did at this point last year? I think all those things matter, and those will go into how I try to predict how many yards Cam Ward's going to throw, how many touchdowns he's going to throw. And I will get to, because I did have a comment from my last video asking a question directly about a few of Cam Ward's stats. And so I will address that in just a little bit. But to scope out the entire 17-game season, I'm going to do that a little bit closer to preseason time, just to really get my thoughts on how realistic can I be. Because like I said, the last 10 times were really, really good. We had a player of A.J. Brown's caliber, and this is what he did his rookie year. So if the Titans are looking to get back to that, it all starts with Carnell Tate. He's going to have to be the key. And how can you not be excited if these are the things we're hearing? Basically, the first real day Carnell Tate was out there, because he wasn't out there for the most part doing anything in the first day and second day of OTAs. He's out there day 3, and he's showing out against real professionals. Our starting defense is out there, our starting secondary is out there, and he got 3 touchdown passes from Cam Ward already. That is very encouraging to me, because another thing that I was very nervous about when it comes to Carnell Tate is he can be a little bit of a boomer bust. He's a little bit of an Alec Pierce, which is why I really wanted Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency, because I felt like we really lacked a pure chain mover last year. Jim DK is a fly down the field vertical threat. Alex Almander is more of a possession receiver, but he's just not there yet. I don't think he has taken the next step yet. And so we had to go get somebody who can just be a pure chain mover, who is somebody who can actually go out there and get us some first downs. And I think that Wan'Dale Robinson's that. So the next step is, who's the guy who can go up and grab 50-50 balls, be the X receiver, be on the boundary side receiver and go up and get the ball. And that's Carnell Tate. And that typically, those type of guys, like an Alec Pierce, don't get a lot of reception. They are chuck it down the field, they go catch it, and they get a lot of yards. That's why Alec Pierce has got a huge extension to the Indianapolis Colts, because he gets a lot of yards. But he is not getting a ton of receptions because he's not getting open a lot of the times in that small and intermediate routes. Now, Carnell Tate, I think, can be a much better route runner than Alec Pierce, and has a wider depth of his route tree than Alec Pierce, and so that's why he is encouraging. But that was some of what I was a little bit nervous about for him coming out of Ohio State. He ran down the field, and they just, he's down there somewhere, because again, the defenses are paying attention to Jeremiah Smith a lot of the time at Ohio State. So if Cam Ward can find Carnell Tate routinely, if this is every play he's looking for him, and if he can routinely get the ball over to Carnell Tate, that right there will take I think my original analysis was a B-. I think I upgraded it to a B after I kind of calmed down after the first draft officially ended, after we traded back up and got Kendrell Folk. I changed it from a B- to a B, just because, again, 4th overall is very rich for a receiver. We're talking, that's Calvin Johnson, that's Jamar Chase, Julio Jones type territory. And I don't know if Carnell Tate is still that yet, but if he could consistently find a way to get open and get receptions while also still being that deep threat that the Titans desperately needed last season, now we are talking more wide receiver 1. This is a guy who can go out there and get 70, 80 catches a season. He's borderline over 1,000 yards every year, 6 to 10 touchdowns every season. That is more of a wide receiver one, and I am slowly getting there. I'm slowly getting there. Again, I'm excited. Like I'm very happy that we went out and got Cam Ward some weapons. So I never want that to be what people are thinking, that I'm just so against getting Cam Ward help, because I'm all for it. I just didn't think that there was any receiver in this draft that was worthy of the 4th overall pick, and I still think that Jordan Tyson, when healthy, the receiver that ended up going number 8 overall to the New Orleans Saints, I do think that if he's healthy, I do think that he's actually the best receiver from this past draft. But hey, Carnell Tate, he's on my team now. He's my guy. I'm going to back him up all the way. And so I get it, but I'm going to keep it fair. I'm not going to just go from acting like on draft night I was like, oh, I'm hesitant, to now he's the savior. You know, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to keep it honest with you guys. And so there's still some concerns, but Carnell Tate coming out day one and showing this, again, impressive media that typically is not very favorable toward the Tennessee Titans in the first place. How could you not be excited for what's to come with this offense? So I'm very excited. I think Carnell Tate this is what we needed. This is exactly what we needed. Again, since AJ Brown, we haven't had any quality receivers that we've drafted. We've brought in DeAndre Hopkins. We've brought in Calvin Ridley to kind of help. We've obviously this season we brought in Wan'Dale Robinson, but we haven't drafted anybody worth anything at the receiver position until last season. And even then, Tim DK is obviously a lot known more for his returning skills, and Alec Almaner was just a bottom of the 4th round rookie last year. So we have with Treylon Burks not panning out, we've been desperately needing this, and that's why I never hated the pick. I just didn't love it. But if he's gonna be that number 1 guy, and again, I want to see him, of course, up against full pads and up against other defenses. So when they do joint practices during training camp and things like that, that's where I really think the value, seeing what value we really got from Carnell Tate. But if he's showing this off day one and the Titans are operating like, hey, this is our go-to guy, we're going to Carnell Tate in any and all situations, and we trust him, then all bets are off, baby. All bets are off. All bets are off. So I'm excited for Carnell Tate and what this team can do moving forward. Again, I just think the biggest thing is hold the brakes just a little bit. I still think that there are a lot of what's the best way? I think there's just a lot of things that Carnell Tate can get better at, which is why I didn't think that he was going to be the first receiver taken. And if he was, it was just going to be because Jordan Tyson was injured, and I didn't think either one of them would get taken as high as they did. But hey, if he's going to fit the role, you're not going to see any complaints from me. So I'm excited. I think that the Titans can do some really good things this season. And man, how can you guys not be pumped? How can you not be pumped? I said it months ago. I'll say it again. This is the best time in the last 20 years at least. This is the best time to be a Tennessee Titans fan. You're getting new everything, new head coach, basically a new GM. I know he was here last year, but basically new GM, new head coach, franchise quarterback, new jerseys, new stadium coming up. We got the Super Bowl, which I'll talk about at the end of the episode today. A lot of good stuff is going on around Nashville, man, and this is the time to get on board. This is the time. I know nobody else outside of Nashville, outside of Titans Nation cares, and honestly, I don't care that they don't care. We're going to have fun ourselves, and when people are sitting there looking at, dang, where the Titans come from? I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to even make the playoffs and make it on the Super Bowl run, but they're going to be like, man, this team is feisty, miles better than they were a season ago. And I think we're going to be really competitive in a lot of games this upcoming season. So I think Carnell Tate's already off to a great start, and he truly can be the rescue to this offense if he can fill right in for that number 1 spot. It's there for the taking. Calvin Ridley has been injured. Like I said, I'll go through how many yards I think he'll have. Wan'Dale Robinson, little sneak peek. I think Wan'Dale Robinson will lead the team in receptions. I don't know about yards yet, but certainly I think Wan'Dale Robinson will lead this team in receptions. But if Carnell Tate can be neck and neck there with him, and then be also the yards guy, and then be the guy that they throw to in the red zone as well, man, this team can easily go from, again, you guys know I had the Titans going 7-10. I mean, having a true number 1 wide receiver can honestly be worth a game and a half. That's the difference between going basically 9-8 and 7-10, or at the very worst, he gives you another game, so you're going 8-9 instead of 7-10. It matters that much. And the fact that there won't be a ton of film on Carnell Tate either makes me really happy. If he can really be that number one receiver, and then they don't even have a whole lot of film on him throughout the season yet, balling, man. You guys can tell. I'm pumped. I think they came out and said yesterday on Sunday that this marks the halfway point of the offseason. So we've had 15 Sundays since the Super Bowl, and now we have 15 more Sundays to go until the very first week of NFL regular season football. So we are at the halfway point now. I'm getting jittery. We already have the draft out of the way. It's just now we got this weird time where they kind of do some mini camp things, and they're going to take some time off. All the players need to go home, have some vacation. Then they come back, and it's, into July, it's go time. So we're at the halfway point there. But Carnell Tate already showing like he's going to be that number one guy for us is nothing short of big time. So be excited about that. I'm telling you guys, and I was the skeptical one. So if I'm telling you be excited, you guys certainly should be excited for what Carnell Tate can bring. Again, don't put these insane lofty goals on there. I do not think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to be in offensive rookie of the year conversations and things of that nature. So, but let's just start by getting the mini camp. We pray to the stars he stays healthy, all those good things. So nothing but good vibes for Carnell Tate and OTAs so far for the Tennessee Titans. Now, again, to my next section, I just want to, again, reset some realistic expectations. Again, last week I put down who I thought would be what the Titans record would be after a 17-game season. And I'm going to go ahead and put my graphic back up here now so you guys can see which specific games I have the Titans winning and have them losing. Again, I think they get out to a pretty hot start for their sake. They start off 2-1. They're sitting at 3-2 through 5 weeks. They're at 4-4 at the bye. That's already more wins than they had last season. Again, I think they hit a big time issue after the bye, and I pray that I'm wrong. And then I think they kind of regained some confidence by the end of the season to finish out 7-10. But yeah, I've seen way too many Titans fans have the Titans at 10 wins, and I've seen a lot of people at 9-8. And again, I hope for that. I really do. But God, man, we gotta pump the brakes. Pump the brakes a little bit. And first, I want to shout out. I had a new subscriber, new person to chime in on the show. At Madison Siebert 2256. Thank you, Madison, for the comment on last week's episode. She stated, "You have some really great points. I am sure things might happen at the beginning that will make you change your mind. Quick question: how many passing touchdowns do you think Cam Ward will have in the first 5 games?" And so, looking at our schedule here, listen, Cam Ward had 15 touchdowns and 7 interceptions last season, and he had 3,169 passing yards. Now, again, Cam played in all 17 games, but he got knocked out in the first quarter of the very last game of the season. So really, and it was a rushing touchdown what he had in that game. So really, Cam Ward played 16 games. So he had 16 games played, 15 touchdowns, 7 picks, and 3,100 yards. If you take some of those yards out of that last game, over 3,000 yards, right? Again, and we expect Cam to make the next step. So Madison, what I would say, looking at that schedule, you got the Jets week 1. I certainly think the Titans are winning that. So I think Cam Ward can easily throw 2 touchdown passes in that game against the Jets. I think the Eagles is very tough. I think the Titans get down, so I do think they're going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. So I'll give Cam Ward 1 touchdown in that game. Against the Giants, we're going to go in there and win that game. Cam Ward's throwing at least 2 touchdowns. He's going to battle Jackson Dart. He's going to be up for it, and he's going to show why he's clearly the better quarterback of those two. Week 4 at Baltimore. Maybe give Cam Ward 1 passing touchdown. Again, we'll see what kind of Ravens team shows up, but I think the Ravens at their best are still night and day better than the Titans. And then Derrick Henry's going to want to go crazy. And then week 5, I think they play a tough, hard defensive battle against the Texans. So I'll give Cam Ward 1 passing touchdown in that game as well. So 2 in week 1, 1 in week 2, 2 in week 3, that's 5, 1 in week 4, that's 6, and then 1 in week 5 for 7. So 7 touchdowns will be my official answer for that question, Madison. And I say that because, again, we expect Cam Ward to, that sounds like a lot of touchdowns, compared to what he had last year. But we fully expect Cam to be taking that next step. So even if he doesn't have a touchdown in every single game, maybe take away 1 touchdown in the Baltimore game. Maybe we just only have rushing touchdowns or whatever. So I expect him to at least have 6 going into that. But I'll bump it up to 7 just because I think that Cam Ward was already in what was an up and down rookie season for him. Once Brian Callahan got fired, we saw Cam Ward take a huge step, and now with him having stability with Robert Saleh, who obviously will be there throughout the entire season, and then having Brian Daboll on top of that for the entire season, I think will help Cam Ward take that even another step. And so I would expect him to be averaging more touchdowns than games played, especially fresh out the gate while he's as healthy as he'll probably be throughout the season. So to get to week 5, for him to be a touchdown or 2, so I'll say 7, to be 2 touchdowns ahead of where he's at, per game, I think makes a lot of sense. If he has 7 touchdowns in 5 games, I think is realistic and not going overboard while also not undershooting him either, because I don't want to sit here and say he's throwing 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, because he, even last season when he wasn't the best rookie we've ever seen, right, he still threw 15 touchdowns and technically 16 full games played, and you add in some rushing touchdowns with that, right? So it to me, I believe that he's going to take another step. We got him some better weapons on top of that. Hopefully J.C. Latham's a little bit better at right tackle. You put all those things considered, him being at a touchdown or 2 more per game at that point of the season, I think makes a lot of sense, especially when I think that's a more favorable. I think there's 2 favorable spots, I think at the beginning and at the very end of the season or more favorable matchups rather than the middle of the season. So yeah, my official answer, Madison, will be 7 touchdowns, I think, through the first 5 games of the year for Cam Ward. Again, I'm so excited to see him out there. He's the number 1 guy that, we talked about Carnell Tate being the rescuer, but man, the person driving the ship is Cam Ward, and he's ultimately gonna be the one to lead us to victory. So, I'm just getting pumped just thinking about it. I've been waiting for this for so long. But back to just realistic expectations, guys. I really think that we gotta hone it in. Like, on paper, you can look at it and say, man, the Titans I think a lot of people are automatically chopping it up that the Titans are going to go 500 in their division. So they're going to beat the Jags, Texans, and Colts once and lose the home or away, however it works out. People are already penciling in 3 wins for our division. Then you have the Jets, you have the Giants, I'm sure most people, and the Browns. So I'm sure most people have us winning those just like I do. So that's already 6 wins there. Just 3 divisional games, Jets, Giants, and Browns. So I'm sure, from what I've seen, a lot of people already have those. So there's 6 wins. Then you have the Raiders and Steelers. Most people are giving us wins in that. So there's 8 wins. And then they have us pull off these at the Commanders or against the Cowboys. And I'm like, guys, like, we gotta learn, man. The Titans are still another offseason and another draft class away, in my opinion, from being at that top. Again, I would love to be wrong. Please, I beg the Titans, let me be wrong. Let me be wrong and let us be it right now. But this O-line still is not all the way there. We don't know what Gunnar Helm's going to be looking like. Is he going to be a true tight end 1? If not, then it's Bellinger, and he's an okay tight end. Defensive line, the defensive tackles are elite, one of the best in the whole league. But our edge rushers, are they good enough? Again, we have Cedric Gray, who's entering, yes, it's his 3rd year, but really only his 2nd year starting in the NFL, and he's going to be next to a rookie in Anthony Hill. The secondary is just 1 injury away from being really thin. You get what I'm saying? So again, in a perfect scenario, I see the Titans going 8-9, 9-8, And a lot of people are just like automatically thinking that we're just gonna soar off into the sunset like nothing ever goes wrong for this team. And I just don't think that that's the case. So I'm trying to be as fair as I can and offer as much, I don't know what the right word is, as much, I'm just trying to be fair, well, for lack of a better term. I'm just trying to be fair because I think we get so involved, and I used to be just like you guys. You know, you look at that, oh man, that's easy. We can win that. We can win that game. We can win that game. And then by week 2, we're like, I don't know if we're winning any games, you know. We got to win week 1 because if we don't beat the Jets, man, all these predictions are out the water. If we can't even beat the Jets and Geno Smith and in a defense that didn't get a single interception last year, you got Jarvis Bradley Jr. already talking smack on the Titans already. Man, we don't beat that team. Robert Saleh's former team, we can't beat that team. Man, we are in a very, very dangerous spot. So I want us to start with that first. Let's beat the New York Jets, and then we can decide what we're doing because we got to get an opening day win eventually. So, but yeah, again, just realistic, man. We got to be realistic, expectation setters. Another thing I've seen people float around is that Cam Ward, and again, like I said, I'll get more into my official prediction. It's kind of hard to not when these conversations are coming up. But I see a lot of people saying Cam Ward is automatically going for 4,000 yards. And again, look, I'm not saying that he cannot, and I would love for Cam Ward to go over 4,000 yards this season. But as of right now, Ryan Tannehill, for at least since the Titans have been in Tennessee, been the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill has the record for most passing yards in a season in 2020 with 3,819 yards. He had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions that season. Again, that was the year A.J. Brown, his second year in the league. A.J. Brown went for 70 catches, 1,075 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And A.J. Brown did that in 14 games. Again, it tells you how good A.J. Brown was. But again, that it took Ryan Tannehill to have a 1,000-yard receiver who only played 14 games. Again, and Corey Davis also was very close to 1,000 yards in his own right that season. But there was a lot that went well that year, and the Titans went 11-5. All these things, a lot of good went for the Titans that year. And Ryan Tannehill still threw for 3,800 yards. And so again, I think that's just another. We got to pump the brakes just a little bit. I would love to see Cam Ward throw for 4,000 yards. I think he was gonna throw, if he would have stayed in that game against the Jags, probably would have thrown for over 3,300 yards. Pretty good season for a rookie. 4,000 yards is a tall order to ask, man. When again, do we have the necessary tackles? I think Dan Moore's okay. I think Latham's decent, but I don't know, man. That's a lot of throwing for Cam Ward to get to 4,000 yards. And again, I know 17 games, it should be possible and all this and that, but man, like, we gotta pump the brakes. Let's get to Tannehill's record first. I think that's one that let's get the Ryan Tannehill goal. Let's beat 38-19, and then we'll go for the 4,000. Because even 38-19 to get to 4,000, I mean, that's almost 200 yards. It's almost another full game that Tannehill would have needed for him to get to 4,000 yards. Now, I will say, Tannehill did that in 16 games. So we have 17 now. So again, it's not impossible. And let me find the average here. That was an average of 238 yards per game. So if there would have been a 17-game season back in 2020, Tannehill, based on his averages, would have hit, 4,000 yards. But yeah, we don't have A.J. Brown nor Corey Davis on this football team. Maybe Wan'Dale Robinson. I think Wan'Dale Robinson can have the Corey Davis production. The A.J. Brown production, we'll see, especially with 11 touchdowns coming from A.J. But yeah, so that's overall. I just want to say that, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's be excited. And I think that to answer another question from at Joshua again Johnson off my video last week, he said, again, thanks for the shout out and answering my question. Great insight. I promise you make me want to keep up with more teams in the league. Appreciate you, Josh. He said, I guess my main question is, will you truly be happy with that 7-10 record? And honestly, I will say yes. I really am. And I'll highlight more of why right here. I will be happy because in 2018, yes, it was 2018, we hired Mike Vrabel, his first year with the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel went 9-7, and we missed the playoffs that year at 9-7, but we won 9 games, and that was the Tennessee Titans record for most wins by a rookie head coach, or at least or most wins by a coach in their first season, I should say. So if we can get to 7 wins, that means Robert Saleh. I didn't deep dive who was in second, third, or fourth, but I would imagine he's within the top 3 to 5 most wins for coaches in their first year if we get to 7-10. Because Mike Vrabel broke the record with 9. So if we get to 7 or 8 wins, that's already the second most successful season under a the first season of being the head coach of the Titans. I don't want to say rookie coach because I don't know if it's because Robert Saleh was a former head coach, so I don't know if it's like the first time they've ever been a coach. But I just know the coach being their first time in their first season with the Titans, the record is 9 wins, and that was Mike Vrabel. So if we go 7-10, 8-9, that's the second best head coach has ever started for the Tennessee Titans. And again, you're telling me if that's the case, with Cam Ward coming back in his 3rd season, new stadium, all the hype around, the Super Bowl's being played in Nashville just 2 years later after that, there's a whole lot of excitement. Another year of having a ton of cap space. Again, if we go 7-10, we're probably gonna have like the number 12th, 13th overall pick somewhere in there. So you're getting a top 15 player again in the draft and every other round in the draft next year. Yeah, I'm okay with that. A 7-10 where Cam Ward's healthy and Cam Ward is not the reason why we lost 10 games. Yeah, sign me up. Now, if the rest of the roster is elevating and Cam Ward is not what we need to be, then we're having a problem. Then I will not be happy with that version of 7-10. Because if it looks like we could have won 8, 9, 10 games, but our quarterback's throwing interceptions, or he's just missing guys wide open, or making the wrong reads, stuff like that, that's a pause for concern. But just in general, how it was last year, Cam was to blame for some stuff, but man, overall, Cam Ward was not the overall be-all blame for last season. If you think that, I'm sorry, you're not watching the game. You're watching the box score. You see, man, why did he only have 150 yards? Because you missed when he dropped a dime in someone's hands 50 yards down the field and they didn't catch it. Or he makes an incredible play and there's a holding call or stuff like that. So you're just box watching if you think that Cam Ward is mainly to blame for last season, because he was not. But yeah, if it's Cam Ward's fault, a majority of the time why we have 7-10, why we lose 10 games and go 7-10, now we have a problem. So that's the answer to that. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you at Madison Siebert, and thank you at Joshua Giddens Johnson for those comments. Again, if you guys have questions for me, anything, want to get my opinion, again, please drop some comments down below. Again, that's how I'm going to try to go about my show each and every week, and try to base it off of any type of prompts that you guys feed me. So please continue to ask me questions. Ask me questions on TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube. Or not Facebook, sorry, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or on YouTube as well. So if you have questions on other of my other platforms, say you don't really rock with YouTube like that, that's totally fine. If you drop a question on any of my content, then I will make sure to address it right here, and I will let them know, let everybody know where you sent that question from. So again, thank you to those two for those comments last time. Now, some offensive stats I do want to monitor. Again, like I said, Carnell Tate's going to be kind of chasing after A.J. Brown's ghost for a little bit, because he just was the last really good receiver that we've drafted. Honestly, A.J. Brown, in just the 3 seasons he played for the Titans, was one of the best Tennessee Titan receivers of all time in just 3 years. So praise to A.J. Also a little bit of an indictment on the Titans for how bad they've had receivers, specifically the ones that they've drafted. But nonetheless, that 1,050, I mean, certainly there's the 1,000-yard mark. Just that milestone in itself is going to be something that Carnell Tate's really going to be one to chase after. And so I think that, again, we got to pause it. To me, I think that's a lofty goal, but it's impossible to ignore. That's something that Carnell Tate and the Titans honestly should be striving after. Can he be that receiver to get over that 1,000-yard threshold? Again, Cam Ward, to get to that 4,000, he's going to have to average basically 200, a little bit over 230 yards per game, every single game. That's what he's going to have to do to get there. Let me make sure my math is exactly right here. I'm going off of Tannehill's. Yeah, he needs 235 yards, 235.2 to get to exactly 4,000 yards in 17 games. 235. So Cam Ward consistently go for that. Last year it was a struggle because, again, this is why I'm going to pull up his logs. And again, now I'm going to be the box score watcher here, but this is to show you how many games. In week 1, Cam Ward threw for 112 yards. Week 2, 175. Week 3, 219. Week 4, 108. Week 5, 265. That was the first time he threw for over 235. Then he threw for 222, 255. So that's twice. 259, 145, 149 or 194, 256. That's 4 times. 141, 117, 170, 228, 250, and 52 yards again against the Jags to end the season. And it really sucks with the Chiefs one because he threw for 228, but Cam Ward was balling, and the Titans just beat the absolute crap out of the Chiefs, and so the Titans didn't even pass anymore. The game was over by the midway through the third quarter, and they didn't even let Cam throw no more. So that would have been one. So that would have been 6 times, but really he did it five times last season. He's gonna have to average that every game for 17 games this season, and that's why I'm like, hey, 4,000. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for a guy who, again, is literally the savior of the franchise. We're just putting all our chips in his basket and saying, please help us. That's a lot to put on him. So again, that's why I'm like, we gotta table this 4,000 yard talk. But can he get close? Can he get to Tannehill? Can he get closer to that 3,800? That, to me, that's a little bit closer to doable. 38-19, I believe, was Tannehill. If he does that over the next 17 games, that's 224. That's more like it. That's more like it. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes for Cam Ward. Another stat that I did want to bring up that I thought was interesting, and this is going to involve one of the Titans rookies, 5th round pick Nick Singleton, running back out of Penn State. Again, I don't expect him to be playing a ton this season as long as Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are healthy. But just something I thought was pretty interesting. So since 2010, the Titans have had essentially 3 running backs in their rookie season do anything. Everyone else has been absolutely garbage. And so I say that, so number 1, since 2010, Bishop Sankey had 569 yards and 133 receiving yards. So for my pure diehard Tennessee Titans fans, you guys know who Bishop Sankey is. Running back, I believe, out of Washington, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Bishop Sankey, I thought he was gonna be so good, man. Yeah, he just was not the player the Titans needed back in 2014. But for his rookie season, he had 569 yards and he added 133 yards through the air. Number 2, Derrick Henry, in his rookie year, 490 yards and 137 yards receiving. 3, again, and if you want to combine it, this is really number 1, Tajay Spears in 2023. Tajay Spears had 453 rushing yards and 385 receiving yards. So combined, he went over for 800 yards. Everyone else in their rookie season since 2010, abysmal. David Cobb in 2015, 146 rushing yards, -2 receiving yards. Hassan Haskins, 93 rushing yards in his rookie year, 57 yards catching. Darrington Evans in 2020, 54 rushing yards. Jamie Harper in 2011, 44 yards. David Fluellen in 2017, 21 yards. Colin Mooney, don't even remember who that is, in 2012, had 19 rushing yards. Jalston Fowler, do you remember him? 13 rushing yards in his rookie season. If Nick Singleton just gets in at all, he should blow all those dudes out the water, minus Sankey, Henry, and Spears. I just don't think he'll get on the field enough to get anywhere near 400 plus rushing yards this season. but well over 100, or anywhere from 200 to 300 rushing yards. Spears has not been able to stay healthy. So if he can add anywhere from, say, 250 rushing yards, add in another 90 to 120 receiving yards, that'll be the fourth best rookie running back performance for the Titans since 2010. So again, these are little things I think that the Titans we are slowly elevating our floor that I think is going to be really important for this football team. If we can get almost 300 yards out of our 5th round rookie running back, who I think can actually be our starting running back long term, I really have faith in Nick Singleton like that. That's incredible. That's incredible value. So I think that's an offensive stat to keep in mind for the Titans. And then lastly, I brought up I know I've done a ton of comparing to Carnell Tate, AJ Brown, Carnell Tate to AJ Brown. The touchdowns. I think really that'll be where Carnell Tate's value is at. Can he be the touchdown guy? AJ Brown had 8 touchdowns as a rookie. 8. That's a lot. It's a lot for a rookie, especially in his predicament. He was a 2nd round receiver, and we had Derrick Henry. We were running the ball every play. I need Carnell Tate to scratch at least 6. He got to scratch at least 5 or 6. To me, to really have that true, be in the argument for a true number 1 receiver, he's got to at least touch 6. And again, that's why I'm saying I don't know if he's there yet, but we got to get to 6. We got to get close to what AJ Brown did, at least from a touchdown perspective. We'll see about the yards and receptions, but we got to put points on the board this year. If the Titans really want to be an improved team, they have got to score more points. So that's where I'll leave it for Carnell Tate. But man, again, like I said, how could you not be pumped for the start for the Titans so far? And again, lastly, the 2030 Super Bowl is headed to my friends up in Nashville. And I have never lived in Nashville, not from there. I live not a few hours away, some hours away, about 7 hours away from Nashville. But I've been there a couple times, driven through several times. I really stopped and stayed there a few years ago. I went to a Titans game and they played the Chiefs and absolutely demolished them. It was probably Kelsey and Mahomes' worst games of their entire careers. I was very happy to be in attendance for that one. That was awesome. My hometown team and my favorite team going up against each other. That was awesome. But yeah, Nashville is, while I've never lived there, with it being my favorite team, it's a home away from home per se. Just because I interact, especially now that I'm older, I interact with so many people that are from Nashville, and I understand how important this is to them. Again, I'm in a city where, the World Cup is coming here, and so never in a million years do I think that, my city would be on the ballot to be hosting, international events. So I'm sure a lot of people in Nashville never thought that they would be entering, a space where the Super Bowl would be coming there, especially with how cold it can get and things like that. But for them to get this new stadium and it's gonna have a dome and all, I don't know if it's a retractable roof. I don't know what, but it clearly has some type of covering over the top. For that to be headed to Nashville, man, hey, congratulations to you guys. I think that's awesome. I think that'll be super cool for the city of Nashville. And so I'm very happy for all those who are involved in that and have been wanting this for a while. I'm sure some people don't want it because of the traffic and how awful that's got to be. We're learning here soon in my city with the World Cup. But yeah, but for those who were wanting it, congratulations. I certainly think that has a Taylor Swift Super Bowl written all over it. That's Taylor Swift written all over it. That one. Country music. I mean, this is going to be a huge country festival. I'm sure that'll be one of the most watched, Super Bowl halftime shows of all time. All that. So, congratulations to my people from Nashville. While I don't live there. I don't think I'll ever live there. But I'm, with you guys in spirit. Hopefully the Titans are playing in that That would be freaking awesome, because I can guarantee that's the way to get me there. I will be there if the Titans are playing in the Super Bowl, especially in their own home stadium. And I'll be there for the parade, all those things. Congratulations again to the City of Nashville, and really congratulations to Amy Adams Strunk. Look, I have been, this is when I was off air, but I have been very, negative toward her for a while, because I think that she made some really boneheaded decisions that really harmed this team. I think she made the right decision originally to fire John Robinson. I think we all knew that. But after that, she made some awful decisions. I was in favor of Rand Carthon, but that turned out to be a terrible decision. Then they immediately had to hire, Chad Brinker to kind of oversee him. And then they got rid of Vrabel, and then they hired Callahan, and it just became a mess, an absolute mess. And so I've been really hard on her, but congratulations to her as well. She got this new stadium, got this rebrand. You guys see I'm rocking my Oilers, my McNair. But I love the new jerseys. Mine's coming here in soon, so I'll make sure to show that off. But man, we got new jerseys, new stadium, and now for the Super Bowl to be coming here. Big shout out to her. And honestly, she could have, again, she inherited this, right? She was not the original owner of the team. Her father was. And so I can get it. Things were going south. The Titans were not very good, especially at the very early 2010s. So it would have been nothing for me to, if I was in her spot, to sell. Now I love football. So if I was an owner, I probably would keep it, but this was my daddy's company. I'm already a billionaire. I can sell this, continue to be a billionaire, and just sit, and do whatever I want to do for the rest of my life. But she is dedicated to fulfilling and living out her father's dream. He moved his team from Houston to here, and her goal is to bring them a Super Bowl. We got really close while Bud Adams was alive. We came up quite literally 1 yard short. And so her goal is to, live it out for her father and bring a Super Bowl to their new home in Nashville. And so they've already done that as far as the event. It's now to get the team there. And so again, I won't spend too much time on this, but again, I just think it is important to stop and just say congratulations to the people who've been really wanting this, and anybody who's had a hand in bringing the Super Bowl to Nashville, and all the really good things that are going on in Tennessee right now. Shout out to you guys, and thank you. Again, as a fan who's not even living there, I can see just the excitement on everyone. I'm going to continue to preach it. The last 20 years, there's no better time to be a Titans fan. This is it right now. What we got going on. Jump on board. Buy the merch. Buy it all, man. This is the time to hop on the train. We're about to go. We're about to go. It's going to be a slow go. We're not going to the moon tomorrow, but you're going to see it. You're going to see it. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you guys have a lovely and awesome Memorial Day. I hope you guys have had an awesome Memorial weekend. So hopefully most of my listeners, hope you guys didn't have to work today like myself. I got today off. So enjoy it. Listen to this by the pool. Crack open a couple beers. Get you guys some barbecue. And just enjoy. Hopefully the weather's nice wherever you guys may be. But again, let me know if you guys have any questions, what you guys want me to talk about next week. I am completely open. Again, my schedule did change, so that's why this is dropping on a Monday. So my work schedule changed just a little bit. So I probably will be doing another episode next Monday as well. Let me know also with that. Do you guys prefer Monday episodes so you can have something to listen to throughout the entire week? Do you like Friday episodes so you have something to listen to throughout the weekend? Let me know all those things. Again, this is very new, and I honestly, I love it. I make mistakes, but this is a great time for me to learn before we get really into the season, and I feel like that's when this podcast is going to take off. So again, also let me know to invite me into your guys' Titans think spaces, talk spaces, wherever you guys go to talk about your favorite NFL team. Let me know. I'd love to join in there. Get your guys' idea. I'll be the voice. You guys don't even have to sit there and man, I wish I could put this on paper or put this out in a video. Let me know, and I'll say it, as long as it's within reason. I'll go out there and say it. Even if I don't agree with it, hey, I heard from some Titans fans about this, and this. I don't necessarily agree, but this is what they're saying. What do you guys think? I'm completely open. I'm here for the fans. I'm here to serve the fans and put out what you guys are saying chronically online. So I'm just going to be the voice of it, and we're going to have a great time. So again, like and subscribe. Please share this show with any Titans fans that you know. Let me know what they think. What ways can I improve the show overall? And what are some good things for me to talk about next week? So until next time, please let me know. Tighten up as always, baby. Let's go.